Just before midnight, we present The Man Who Invented Yesterday by James Follett. The Man Who Invented Yesterday.
I am not in the slightest bit interested in your absurd little car, Mr. Fox. If the good Lord had meant Minis to survive close encounters of the third-party kind with Rolls-Royces, he would have given them larger bumpers.
No one in their right mind puts their car into reverse in the middle of the street without warning.
Please, Max, let's park in the multi-story and discuss this.
There was plenty of warning. My reversing lights came on, didn't they? Minis get out of the way of rollers. Law of the jungle.
Guildford High Street is not a jungle. It's a
Oh,
public...
yes, it is. Red in Tooth and Toyota. Sally, my angel, what is my favourite niece doing travelling with this objectionable creature?
Jerry is the university's supplies officer, Max. He's worried about the electron microscope you borrowed.
You promised us faithfully, Sir Max. 1 month during the summer you wanted it for. You've not answered my letters. You've slammed the door in my face when I've called at your house.
If it wasn't for the magic of the name of Sir Max Flinders, the university wouldn't have an electron microscope.
It's because of your illustrious name that we haven't got an electron microscope. The trouble is you use your Nobel Prize in the same way that a burglar uses a crowbar.
It's not only that, Max. Mother is worried about all the postcards she keeps getting from you from Moscow. Sooner or later, someone's bound to start asking questions.
My loyalty to my country ought to be above reproach. I always fly British Airways on my trips to the Soviet Union.
We accept that it was through your efforts that we got the microscope, Sir Max. But remember, it was you who assured the trustees the microscope would be put to good use.
Ah, damned admin types. My DNA recombination work is good use.
They don't think so. They say that it's unethical.
Well, there's no one apart from academician Alexei Kamovsky knows exactly what I'm working on. I don't see how.
Look, it's stupid discussing this in the road.
Oh, quite right, Sally, quite right. If you two come and see me on, what's today, the 21st for dinner, I'll show you what I've been up to. I spy traffic wardens, a new and virulent form of life that was not synthesized as a result of DNA experiments.
Do we get our electron microscope back?
But of course, my dear fellow, of course. Oh, yes, there is something else. Do me a favor, Jerry, Mr. Fox, whatever your name is, and bring along one of the university's motor-driven still cameras and a tripod.
What about my Mini?
Oh, no, I won't be needing that. But I will need a few rolls of colour film. Might as well record the event for posterity in glorious Technicolor, eh?
You can't help liking the old rogue. If he's been seeing Alexei, that explains the Moscow postcards.
So who's Alexei?
An old friend of Max's, a paleontologist at the Soviet Academy. His particular forte is Jurassic and Cretaceous reptiles, prehistoric monsters.
Does he keep the goats for his experiments?
No, for their milk.
Oh.
Uncle Max is a self-sufficiency freak. He adores all animals.
Sally, my angel.
Hello, Max.
Jerry?
Sir Max?
Oh, come in, come in. You brought the photographic gear. Splendid. Oh, I see you sold the Mini, Jerry. Well, a van's much more practical.
It's to collect the electron microscope, Sir Max.
Oh. And I'm on the phone to Moscow. I won't be a minute. Dump everything there.
Right.
Okay. Hello? Alexei? Sorry about that. Look, as I was saying, the chart recorders have been showing an increase in activity. So we can expect whatever it is we've got to hatch out around 7 this evening. Yes. Yeah, I've been keeping my fingers crossed. I've got splinters from touching so much wood. Okay. All right, you'll call at 10 this evening. Fine. Bye. Go on, out of the way, cat. Go on, shoot.
They're still breeding then, Max?
Oh, yes. Lovely to see you, Sally.
Dad sends his regards. I'd better put this camera where we won't fall over it.
I take it we will be able to take the electron microscope.
Ah!
Sally, what? Good grief.
Sorry, my angel. I should have warned you.
What the hell is it?
Tyrannosaurus rex, largest and most ferocious of the carnivores from the Upper Cretaceous period. Good job it's only a skull, eh? Those teeth are over 6 inches long.
Honestly, Max, do you have to keep such a thing in the hall?
No choice, my poppet. The front door's the only door in the house he'll go through. 2 of my more faint-hearted cats packed their bags and left the day I brought him home.
Something else you borrowed?
Yes, well, let's shift everything to the lab. I've got some coffee brewing in a retort.
You've extended the place, Max.
Well, the old lab was too small for this project. Damn, I'll strangle that Siamese. Have to be black coffee, I'm afraid. Percy's nicked the cream.
What's this enormous glass case for, Sir Max?
Ah, now that's the centerpiece of the project. It's an incubator. Oh, it's not borrowed. I built it. The humidity is carefully controlled, and the intensity of the lamps varies to reproduce night, morning, mid-afternoon, and evening.
Shouldn't an incubator have eggs?
There's an egg in there. A very special egg.
But there's nothing. Just sand and gravel and a few stones.
The egg's about 4 inches under the sand. It's being alternately warmed and cooled by the lamps, just as the sun warmed and cooled such eggs 65 million years ago during the Cretaceous period.
Why then, Max?
You haven't touched your coffee.
Why then, Max?
Because that's when Tyrannosaurus ruled the Earth. Tyrannosaurus rex. You know what it means. The tyrant king of the lizards. My God, he was well named. Over 20 feet high when standing erect. A mouth you could park a Mini in. Teeth and claws that could rip any creature apart with a speed that could only come from 100 million years of evolution. 100 million years. We've been around 5 million. Do you think the human race will last as long as Tyrannosaurus? And people say the dinosaurs were a failure.
So what has all that to do with this incubator?
Well, the remains of a Tyrannosaurus have been found in Mongolia. The creature had stumbled into an oil seepage pool some 70 million years ago and had been literally pickled in shale. Alexei invited me out to take a look at it.
Why you, Max? What do you know about paleontology?
Oh, nothing, my angel, but for the first time we had our hands on dinosaur tissue and not merely fossilized bones and bits of mummified skin. The last tissue slide contained the one thing that I'd hardly dared hope that I might find.
So that's what it's all about.
DNA remains viable if stored in alcohol. Now, similar conditions existed in that stratum of oil-rich shale. The genetic code, the blueprint of a creature extinct for 65 million years was laid out before me.
So the egg in that incubator is...
We'll find out later today. Now, if you could set the camera up so that it's focused a couple of inches just to the left of that large stone. Then we'll go and investigate the freezer, eh? See what we can thaw out for dinner, eh? But it's been done before, with amphibians, by introducing body cell nuclei into their egg cell cytoplasm, but never successfully with reptiles.
2 years ago, you wrote a paper supporting the government's code of practice on DNA recombination work. You said
Now, what is unethical bringing back a creature that has become extinct? One can argue the opposite way, say that it would be unethical not to do so if we now have the ability.
Why if?
Well, all I've had so far is failure. I've used the egg of the iguana lizard as the trigger material in this instance, but before my work's been bedeviled by an amazingly rapid cell division.
Rapid growth?
That's right. The cells have always multiplied at an astonishing rate. I still haven't been able to discover where I've been going wrong.
Yes, but if you succeed this time...
If I succeed this time, all that will happen is that iguana egg may hatch a hybrid creature that may live just long enough to answer the question of whether the dinosaurs were warm-blooded or cold-blooded. It won't tell us why they became extinct. Were the eggs of Tyrannosaurus eaten by the new mammals, or were the newly hatched creatures pounced on by other reptiles? That's the alarm. The microphone must be picking up some movement.
Camera and tripod is all set, Max.
Okay. Let's have the amplifier on so that we can hear what's going on. Listen. He's chewing his way out of the shell.
Won't it suffocate under the gravel?
But he's not resting, and yet fighting his way out of that shell must be exhausting him. Unless he is warm-blooded. Cold-blooded creatures can't expend energy as warm-blooded creatures can. That's why so many baby turtles die in their rush for the sea after they've hatched.
Hey, the sand's moving.
Start the camera. Quickly, man. Come on, little fella. Come on.
There's a hand. Oh my God, it's a hand!
Shh. Have you ever seen anything so horrible?
No, it's perfect. A perfect forearm of a Tyrannosaurus. Now his head. He's beautiful.
I think I'm going to be sick.
You can hear his breathing. Just look at him. Isn't he magnificent?
And he's growing fast.
What?
His hand now completely covers that pebble, you see?
Give me that pointer. That's it.
Max, you've got to destroy it.
Just ease him gently over to the side. See if his breath steams up the glass.
Watch out, he can climb.
The window! Quickly! Stop him!
Mind the camera!
Any luck?
No. I've shut the gates, but I don't suppose an 8-foot garden wall will stop him if he's a mind to escape.
We've found these claw marks, Max.
I don't believe it.
He's doubled in size, hasn't he?
The cell division rate was right all along. This is how Tyrannosaurus survived after hatching. They grew at a phenomenal speed. Possibly a brief burst of growth immediately after hatching to get them to a size whereby they could defend themselves.
How do we catch him?
At that growth rate, those chickens he had an hour ago won't sustain him for long.
How do we catch him?
I'm thinking. Look, you and Jerry had better go for help. We need a party of men with strong nets and rifles. Go now, and close the gates behind you.
What about you, Sir Max? We can't very well leave you here.
No, Jerry's right. I'm not leaving. Jerry.
65 million years since that sound was last heard on Earth. He's discovered that the goats are locked up. Go now. Go on, go quickly. And close the gates behind you. Go on!
Well, what will you do?
Try to tempt him into the house with a trail of meat, and then shut him in. Oh, don't worry about me. I've still got my old 12-bore. Come on. Come on, fella. There's a nice piece of kidney on the doormat. That's it. That's a good fella. Now the piece on the table. No, not this way, fella. There's nothing in here but me. The cupboard's bare, but for me. You have grown in 5 hours, haven't you, big fella? What are you now? 7 feet when standing erect? So, you've got a sense of smell, eh, big fella? And good hearing? Can you hear the motor in my tape recorder? Pea-brained and lumbering. That's how we thought of you, but we were wrong. You were fast and cunning, weren't you, big fella? But then you had to be to rule this planet for 100 million years. Well, newcomers, eh? You can hear me, can't you? Come on. Come on, big fella. But if you want me, you'll have to tear down the door. Hot breath. So you were warm-blooded? Well, who's it going to be, big fella? You or me?
In The Man Who Invented Yesterday by James Follett, you heard Alan Rowe as Sir Max Flinders, Graham Faulkner as Jerry, and Jenny Twigge as Sally. The play was directed by Christopher Venning.